Yeah, I recall that about a month ago, this viral story was all over my timeline. I didn't want to even look into it very far because it was so sordid in nature and so dark, if it were true. The fact is, though, at least according to Mary Kate Cornett at the center of the story, it was all fabricated from the very beginning. There was this viral, apparently fake story going around everywhere that this Ole Miss freshman named Mary Kate Cornett, a 19-year-old girl, had slept with her boyfriend's father in her boyfriend's childhood bedroom. And it snowballed and got worse and worse and worse. The more details came out. And you just thought, first of all, how evil must this girl be to betray her boyfriend like this and destroy his family, but also how evil his father must be. Like, this is disgusting. Yeah. Everything about it was so abhorrent to me and so repulsive that I didn't even go into the details about it. But many people did, and they took it at face value when they shouldn't have. Because now, Mary Kate Cornett, the villain at the center of this story, has spoken out, and she says there was literally never any truth to the story whatsoever. It wasn't even like a twist from an original story that was bad and people made it seem worse than it was.
Somebody just didn't like her and made it up?
It was literally made up. And get this, it was from an app I almost forgot existed.
I had never even heard of it.
It's called Yik Yak.
It's like TikTok.
Yeah, it's sort of like TikTok before TikTok, but it's analogous to Whisper. It's an anonymous forum, and Yik Yak is a regional one. So in your zip code, you're only going to see posts from other people in your local area anonymously. And they're spreading local gossip, talking shit about local businesses, local people, schools, parties. And this is the original Yik Yak post that was about her. This is completely anonymous. We still have no idea who posted it or why. All the alleged details and alleged pictures you need about this alleged story about a girl allegedly named Mary Kate who allegedly slept with her boyfriend's dad, allegedly. That was the whole text post that eventually blew up and ended up all over TikTok, all over X, and people started looking into this girl, who she is in real life, and tacking on more and more sordid, disgusting,
so it became like
outrageous
game of
details.
Telephone, and
yes.
It just got worse and worse and worse.
Yes. It started trending #1 at one point on X after going viral. And now she says in a new interview on NBC that this basically ruined her life, got her doxxed, got her family doxxed, and she is somehow going to seek legal recourse. I have no idea how.
Against who?
Because you'll never know who posted it.
The app won't be held responsible.
I mean, I guess Yik Yak could theoretically find the IP address of the person who posted it, right?
I guess.
Maybe.
I mean, it sounds like it would actually, they didn't commit an actual crime.
But I think what she's considering doing is suing newscasters who talked about it as if it were true.
I mean,
and
for not
spread
saying,
it further.
I mean, as long as they said allegedly.
Pat McAfee spread it around, and also I believe it was spread on Barstool Sports by Dave Portnoy.
Okay.
But let's watch a segment of this interview she did.
So where are we starting this?
Starting at 35 seconds, I believe.
Okay.
Its name and photo to it. Do you know why the rumor started?
No clue. No clue.
I'm not going to full screen it just because I don't know if we're going to. All right.
I had zero knowledge of this.
This disgusting rumor was a top trending topic on Twitter.
Within 2.5 hours. Later that night, around 7 p.m., I was #1 trending in the United States. I felt so helpless and so alone because so many people were hating on me for some.
What was with that artistic shot out the window?
They always do this on these channels,
the cameraman's like, God, this job is so boring.
Something that I had no idea anything about. I mean, I'm a very normal person. Just like any teenage girl, I care about what people think about me. I mean, any teenage girl can relate to that.
Cornett's phone number was also shared online. She was overwhelmed with harassing texts and voicemails.
I was having thousands of calls come through, thousands of texts coming through, calling me a whore, calling me a slut, telling me I deserve to die.
When you look back at the last 5 weeks, is there one moment that sticks out for you?
With myself, it would probably be at 3 a.m. when I was throwing up while holding the phone with all of the texts on it. Just saying how horrible of a person I was and that I should end my life.
All because of an internet rumor.
All because of an internet rumor that has zero truth to it. Zero.
Cornett says she could barely leave her dorm room, had to switch to online classes. Someone even sent police to her mother's house in a fake 911 call.
It's called a swatting, guys.
Yeah, they swatted her family members, and people found all of her personal information. They found her boyfriend's personal information.
So the boyfriend is real.
Here's the thing. Her boyfriend is a real person, and people were saying he was the one whose father slept with her. That just, like, didn't happen. And there's, by the way, her and the boyfriend are still together.
That's crazy.
Shockingly.
Like, I am shocked that this did
I'm
not
shocked,
end the
actually,
relationship.
more so that, like, they would just be able to withstand the difficulty of it all.
Yeah.
Not, like, the truth,
Does he
the
have, like-
veracity of it notwithstanding.
Does he have a relationship with his father? Because now every time they go over to their house, they're like, well, this is awkward.
Well, his father didn't do that. So, like, no one of those three people should have any issue.
It's just the idea that an awkward rumor was made
Yeah.
up about them that now when they're in a room
Yeah.
together has to, like, permeate the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're in a room together making dinner and she's, like, standing next to the dad and she has to move away awkwardly because somebody started a rumor on the internet.
Yeah. And looking at some of the comments, they're not so sympathetic to her situation.
Well, I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. She's saying none of it happened. Did she say that back then, too?
Yeah.
So what is it about now that makes people so certain that this never happened?
That
Like
the rumor was
you
fake,
can't
you mean?
you can't prove that it did happen, but you can't prove that it didn't happen either, and that's the insidious nature of rumors.
Well, okay, but I could say the same thing about anyone.
No, I know.
And they wouldn't have evidence.
but I'm saying what is
that-
bringing it back into the news now that makes it relevant again?
The reason for that is because later on in this news segment, you can see her with her lawyer.
Okay.
Because now they're thinking about a way to get compensation from some of the news outlets that spread it around. It reminds me, actually, of the Covington Catholic scandal, where this one
I mean, but
student...
there was video evidence of
what was his
didn't
name?
happen.
Nick Sandman?
Yeah, there was video
Yeah.
evidence of what didn't happen
Yes,
for that. So that's a lot easier to prove.
But the video evidence also showed people what they thought happened.
Yeah.
And implicated him in some sort of hate crime that they thought happened. So it was ambiguous. But it reminds me of that situation. And a lot of people are saying that she's using this as a way to secure a bag. Like she's trying to get rich quick off of it. You could
it
say
ain't
the
quick.
same thing about Nick Sandman. He got super rich off of his legal defense.
It's just
and-
that there's quantifiable ways to prove Nick Sandman's innocence, and there isn't a quantifiable way to prove that something didn't happen. Like in that one, there's something that they said did happen, and he has proof that it didn't. In this case, they're saying there was something that she did do, but there
Yes.
isn't proof that that didn't happen.
The problem, I guess, going forward is that forever, when you Google her name for the
Yep.
rest of her life,
Forever.
all that's going to come up is this. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Even when sick, dancing to the crisis party.
I always will dance until my last breath.
To the
So-
last cough.
Here were some of the comments. Nobody even knew who she was until she decided to go after the Pat McAfee show to score a quick bag. That is just not true. I remember this being everywhere, and I chose for us to just not even touch it because I thought it was so disgusting and horrible and depressing. But it was like water cooler level talk. Like it was water cooler talk at the time. That was only a month ago. It just feels like time flies on the internet. But yeah, she's still with the boyfriend. Another one said, she's lying. Oh, well, But now that you say that changes everything.
Okay, so one person says, Mercurius says, it seems like she's trying to keep the story going for a payday, as I doubt most people even remember it by now. Here's the problem, though. Most people may not, but like Mary said a couple of minutes ago, it will follow her for anything she needs to do in her life, which would require any type of internet search.
Unless she somehow just changes her name over this, which is horrifying. Another one said, this sounds disingenuous. She never said something I didn't do. She said something I didn't know about. The phrasing strikes me as odd. There's something else. I can't put my finger on it. Okay, she did very clearly deny the truth of the entire rumor in the very part of the clip we played. She said there was zero truth to it.
Yeah.
Zero truth to it. I don't know how she could more emphatically deny the rumor, but people will still say, no, she's snaking. Like, okay, if she did it, if the rumor were true and she wanted people to think it's false, she would actually still deny it, though.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to say that she's using weasel words to not deny it. If she wanted to deny it, she'd still deny it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Another one said she likes the attention. 90% of the world would have never known about this without her going on TV to talk about it.
That's not true, though.
That is also not true.
Yeah.
Another one thinks she has no case against Pat McAfee. If he was just talking about a story he read elsewhere, then she should go after the elsewhere. She's drawing more attention to something most people forgot about or never knew about to begin with.
Again, that's easy to say when it's not about you. But if it's
she's not Amanda Knox, but like
if it's
this
about
is a
you,
thing.
if it's about you, and then everything that people associate with you from then on out is about that, it's very, very different. You're looking at it from the perspective of somebody who saw the story in passing and kept going. That's not the truth of the matter for the people involved in it.
Like, that's why cancel culture existed.
Yep.
It didn't exist because this person's story is going to be relevant for more than a day or two. It just means we can smear this person effectively enough that all the Google search results about them for the rest of time will be implicating them in some kind of scandal or crime they didn't commit.
Unless you get in on Trump's level and you just shift the news cycle by saying something insane.
The weave.
They're like, oh no, Signalgate. And he's like, I want to buy Greenland and we're going to annex Canada.
If only Mary-Kate Cornett could pull something like that. But
I mean, she could do that. She could turn herself into like an internet person.
I think this proves more than anything that like social media is just, it's a failed experiment. It never, if it ever had the potential to do anything good for humanity.
Social media?
It's exhausted now.
Social media did nothing good for society.
And truly, anger is the currency of all social media platforms.
I will say that I actually believe that to be true. So I put out a tweet. I tweet about movies, TV all the time to limited engagement, especially when you like something. But I put out a tweet last night about how I used the word hate. I said,
oh my.
I said, I absolutely hate the modern day drone shots that Hollywood uses to establish scenery, and that helicopter shots had more movement and more energy. And there was like more engagement on that than on stuff that's far more interesting, probably because people are like,
it's negative.
And then people were like, no, you're wrong about this. And I'm like, it's an opinion. How can I be wrong? But there's something wired in people's brains to want to engage with stuff that people don't like. I don't have that. Like,
well, it's sort of like also the pull of the morbidity of it, you know, like the disgusting nature of it, the salacious nature of it that draws people in. That's why true crime is so popular.
Yeah. Like mine was about something so not important and people still engage with it.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It makes you question whether you should say anything ever again.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally like an infographic. It's like the only way for nobody to hate you is to do nothing, say nothing, be nothing.
Mm-hmm. And I don't really want to do that either.
I mean, I kind of do most of the time.
You don't have a choice.
Like unfortunately, my job.
Guy on a
me.
podcast. I don't think I want to say anything.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.